right, welcome Packer fans. This is Mike Wahle. Thanks for watching. Host a block party. Appreciate you being here. I'm trying a different format. I want to speak as little as possible to the screen now, and I just want to get to the tape. These are going to be largely previews this entire season. I want to talk about our opponent, how we're going to attack them, things that you see on film, mismatches, formations, personnel groupings, motion, shifts, how they adjust to all these things on offense and defense. We want to break that part down. I want you guys to feel like Nostradamus when you're watching the tape with your buddies. I want you to feel like I've seen these plays before. I've seen them on tape. I know what moves they should be making. I want to also look and continue to look at the line play, the box play, the techniques, everything, and why we're winning and losing these individual matchups. One thing that you're going to see on this tape, I think, out of all of this is schematically, this team on offense is talking about the Cleveland Browns. They're 28th in scoring, 26th in rushing. They're just not as creative from a schematic standpoint as the Matt LaFleur-led Packers offense. On defense, these guys, even though they're giving up 29 points per game, they're number one in rushing. They're number one in total yards per game. This is a very, very downhill, physical, fast defense. They have the best defensive player in Myles Garrett in the entire National Football League, in my opinion. And what you're going to see is, despite like losing 41-17 last week to the Ravens, this is a team that is going to beat you with some of these 1v1 matchups. And the name of the game this week, and I think what's going to be really fun for Packer fans to watch, is how do we deal with these individuals, these Myles Garretts, the Devin Bushes of the world, the guys that just are, even Bryce Huff. I mean, some of these guys are just disruptors. Mason Graham talking along the defensive line, the rookie out of Michigan. How are we going to deal with a box group that largely is the best group that we faced, and is certainly led by the best player that we're going to see all year. So I'm interested in it. I had a lot of fun breaking this stuff down. I hope you guys enjoy it. Remember, leave some comments. Let me know what you want to see. Questions, anything I can address after the game. Let me know. Comment section, like, rate, and review, subscribe, all that stuff. Guys, enjoy this. I'll see you next time.
All right, guys. I think we're going to figure out everything we need to know from this Cleveland Browns team and kind of how they're operating on offense, just really by watching the first quarter. I'm going to give you like 10 plays today against the Ravens. And granted, the Ravens are a great defense, but so are the Green Bay Packers, and they're going to present a couple of similar issues. The big thing to notice here is because of the lack of this offensive line for the Cleveland Browns has been kind of one of the few bright spots on offense for years. But right now, they've got Dwan Jones, and I believe this is Cornelius Lucas filling in for Jack Conklin. And these guys are getting beat physically. They're getting beat from a schematic standpoint or account standpoint. And really, it's affecting Joe Flacco because he's an older quarterback. He's not very mobile. He's making a lot of fast decisions. So this plays right into whether you're the Baltimore Ravens or you're the Jeff Hafley defense, and how you want to think about things is I can create pressure from 4, maybe 5. I can play a lot of cloud coverage on one side and take away all the short sticks and the quick outs and all that. And I can really focus in on forcing these guys to make quick decisions and get the ball out of his hands, probably out of bounds. We see from these first 10 plays, if you can't run the football effectively, and listen, they still got Bentonio in here at left guard. They still got Teller at right guard. But Nick Chubb's not. He's no longer part of the equation. You got Jerry Jeudy. This isn't quite the same offense that we saw a couple years ago. And really, with the quarterback who did come in and again have another good season in Joe Flacco last year, this just isn't one of those. This isn't one of those teams where you close your eyes and you go, yeah, I think they're going to score over their season average of 16 and a half, 17 points against the Green Bay Packers. Right now, they're 20th in scoring. They're 26th in rushing. And when you watch these plays, they're trying to make this really easy, not because Joe Flacco isn't capable of playing ball, but because they don't have a great offensive line anymore. They don't have great tackles that can pass protect, and their run game isn't nearly what it used to be. So we go motion across, and we just get real quick stick, trying to get the ball out of his hands fast. The Baltimore Ravens are obviously a pressure team, but we got a lot of kind of mirrored concepts on this, and that's going to be another theme with these guys. Is really we're running a lot of mirrored stuff. So we got out, we got the stick, and then we have one guy running a crosser because we got the 3x2 side when we got a fast flow out of the backfield, right? So why does this happen, or why is this part of the game plan? Well, part of it's because you're playing the Baltimore Ravens. But but you just see early on, and this is what I think the Green Bay Packers can do, whether they want to bring Quay or they want to bring Adrian Cooper, or they want to just go with 4 guys. Right here, you're going to see we're going to bring here and here and just put this tackle in a bind. He's going to have to make a decision. But one way or another, Joe Flacco's getting hit early. And I think this is, as you're game planning, one of the things you're always talking about is how you're going to affect this guy. How are you going to affect that quarterback? And obviously with an older quarterback who's not very mobile, but is a veteran, has seen all the defenses in the world, what is one surefire way to make this guy uncomfortable? Just hit him, put him on the ground as many times as possible early in the first quarter and make sure they can't establish a run game, right? So that's what we're going to see here. Cornelius Lucas actually makes a good decision. You got to let the most dangerous go, or excuse me, you got to pick up the most dangerous. That happens to be Patrick Queen. They go out and make the play. All right, perfect. So we got the next play up. And again, these are 10 of the first quarter plays. Same formation. They didn't motion to it this time. They want a quick hookup. We go back. And the route combinations, again, are pretty simple. We're not going to get, what we don't have is a real burner. I mean, Jerry Jeudy's a really good football player, right? But we're just going to hook up here, 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 and here, right? So these are all kind of, it's not only the route concepts that we talk about when we talk about the Cleveland Browns right now, as compared to, let's say, the offense of the Green Bay Packers. It's how they window dress everything. So I can tell by formation, by the nasty splits, by what the personnel is. Kind of, I bet you that Jeff Hafley and the defensive staff have a pretty good idea of how we should play these guys when they're in specific formations, when it's run pass. Let me go back and show you something here as well. If we just start with the real basic principles, like what is the split here? What is the split here? What does this position, this hipped off of from the tackle mean? If he's out, if we're talking about the running back, that is not a running position. This is not a split flow position, right? This nasty split usually means crosser, could be in an out route, okay? Or he could be trying to dig out that safety if they feel like they're coming down on that side. But you kind of know a couple things already. This is more of a pass from that tight end position. You're thinking more that's pass pro. Obviously, from the running back, you think it's pass pro. So we're going to have a lot of pre-snap information. If you're in the secondary, if you're Xavier McKinney, if you're Quay Walker, if you're Adrian Cooper, you've got a lot of pre-snap info here. They hook up out of the 12 personnel with a 2 tight end set. They get the first down. All right, one thing I wanted to just show on this play, you always point this out regardless of who you're watching. This stuff for me is awesome. So watch this, 95 on the Baltimore Ravens pursue here. This is what you're looking for if you're watching professional National Football League games. And then the punch out, just awesome stuff. Okay, guys, so they motion to a tight bunch formation down here on the bottom of the screen. It's under center play action, so you're kind of first thinking run. They do have some under center play action pass. This used to be what they were famous for. Out of a bunch, you don't see as much under center play action with the deep routes out of bunch, just because your receivers are closely knit, and it's going to take a little time to clear all the traffic. That is why you go under center, but a lot of these times you want to really kind of put pressure on the safeties. It's hard to do that from all the different bunch switch releases that you're going to do out of this formation. So what exactly are you thinking from this position specifically? Well, you have all your kind of your down around stuff, right? You've got your guard pull. You can run a bunch of kind of trap plays out of this, whether you're a kick out with a power or downhill with the trap. So you watch this here, and just like Adrian Cooper does, Patrick Queen sniffed this out immediately. And you go from the end zone copy, and these are the plays nowadays when I look at it, I go, okay, I'm not sure that everybody's on the same page, whether we're talking about the Cleveland Browns or a lot of teams, quite clearly, in the National Football League. Like, you see a lot of these mistakes being made. Usually when this guard pulls here, this is a comment that the coach makes that says, hey, you're never going to be wrong, right? You're never going to be wrong. Just read what you see. Generally, if you see this guy head up, you just want to knock the hell out of his hip. Because if you do that, you're going to be in good shape. It leads you up to your linebacker. Instead, We got the double team guard center, and he just shoots through, and really nobody picks up either linebacker. The guard's late on it on the backside. They've got this read up. Marlon Humphrey does a good job against the receiver. It's just not very well executed unless you really think that the back's path should be A gap. Really should be, downhill A gap and then bounce and kick it all the way around. Which I have a hard time with that. Let's see if blue works a little bit better. Yeah, down like that. And we got to run kind of a throwaway play here. I only bring it up because we're going to see it here. They've run it. I think they've run it once already, and then we're going to see it again. So they're just going to run. They're going to run a clear out. They're going to run a clear out. They're going to run a screen here and just try to get this 20 yards. I'm only bringing this up because they ran this play, I think, 3 times in the first quarter, or some derivation of it. So we'll just go through it real quick. Just a 3rd and 20 play. It's a nice effort. I like you just kind of like you're trying to get your yards. Like to make some sort of block there on the outside. Tough sport. All right, second series. We got 2nd and 7. We got under center. 2 tight end set. They love this 12 personnel. They go play action pass. This one's a toss up for me. Now, it's, just kind of, we're not getting, so what are we looking at? We're kind of looking at some mirrored concept routes here, right? And, as this pertains to the Green Bay Packers, if fans are doing a comparison, this is different kind of stuff. You're kind of running these kind of like, not necessarily like sail 7s, but you're kind of running these sail 7s. And then you got the bang out you got the bang out here with the release. You got the bang out here with the release, okay? And then you're probably getting a check down right there. When you see this, obviously you pick a side, you want to win the outside. Right now, we got our eyes going the wrong direction because you're going under center. Now, this usually makes the read easier, but I don't know if he picks this pre-snap or not. But again, it's kind of interesting. Down here, they're running cloud coverage, and that means this guy's going to fade. He's got deep half. Over here, we got kind of probably a better matchup. And then with this, we got man-on-man here. And it just kind of, it just makes you wonder, why is he getting rid of the ball so fast? Maybe not taking a shot at the other side. No, neither play really looks good. Again, the way that they're dressing this stuff up, I just don't know how interesting it is versus kind of what you see like maybe from the Green Bay Packers offense, right? And there's a lot of different reasons for that. So we look at it from the end zone copy, under center play action. 71's not really tipping this off, gets beat immediately. And again, what's the easiest way to get to Joe Flacco's kind of make him feel anxious? We'll get your right tackle beat. Get him hit, get him hit, get him hit. Obviously, when you think about Micah Parsons, Sean Gary, you feel pretty good about that opportunity. All right, you got a stack formation up top, 2x2, pick up, short throw again. They're running kind of that trail play where they run the stick right underneath the, I don't even call that a glance. But I want you to watch here again, the Baltimore Ravens on a 1st and 10 play. They're dialing up, really trying to put this guy in a quandary. Now, Joe Flacco moved his back from the right side to the left side to pick this up. So as we look at this from the end zone, you kind of see why he's continuing to run these quick routes, getting rid of the ball fast on the deeper stuff. Ends up in an incompletion. Okay, let's just take a look here what the problem is. So DeJuan Jones again, I think he's the big fella from Ohio State. Just me personally, am I a huge fan of that? Not really. But they're going to put him in conflict by design. Now, Joe Flacco picks this up by bringing the back over. So, technically these guys have, this all the way here. They just go 5 down, and this thing's blocked. This is no problem. The problem is you got a young player in here who's not really understanding the pass pro as we've seen so far. And because of that, they end up taking 2 on the inside guy, another free shot on Joe, and it's not like you're just peppering him, right? Like, you don't have to knock this guy out. He just wants to get rid of the ball faster than normal. That's all that matters right now. Another 2x2. You got 2 tight ends at different levels. This could be a split flow look. You think it's not. go back here, you kind of think it's not just with the way the back's lined up. They're running that same kind of screen action now. And this is another one of those plays where, look, I'm not in charge of the quarterback room, and I don't know what Joe Flacco knows, but I do know if you're running this glance, usually you're trying to figure out. It's like in all pass plays, you're trying to figure out who you're putting in conflict, right? And right now, you're trying to put this guy in conflict. We've got man matchup here. You got a man matchup here. And our backer is manned on here. So if our backer follows, you've got the glance. So this is a three-step glance. This is the five-step glance by that X receiver up top. That's the window to throw. And Flacco doesn't want to throw it. You don't really know why. He doesn't look that way. He's looking at this underneath player here. Misses that first window, throws it out. Again, you just don't have numbers. Really, again, I think that one of the things that you always have to ask yourself if you can take away something from the team that they're playing because the opponent the same. The answer is no here, but you can take things away because of the speed of play, the aggressiveness of the linebacker position, the way they can get on the quarterback, right? So he misses this window, or excuse me, he doesn't miss anything, but he sees conflict here. He doesn't really want to wait for this area. So instead, he just throws it out on the wheel. He's got the one screen, but listen, these guys are hyper aggressive. Real issues there for Flacco and company. Gets rid of the football. Actually has time, but they just don't look like a very confident football team. 2nd and 14. So they take their tight end and move him out to the outside position here. Back's a pretty decent ways away. This is, for most people, this is not a run formation. You start looking at the tackles again. Are they giving away information? Can we build on that? Can we take something away from that if we're a Packers defensive line room? And he's already getting pressured. So they've kind of ran a bubble down here. They've ran a smash concept up top. So here. They bubble this guy back, run out, and they just run a little stick. And they just don't have answers right now that make sense against the Baltimore Ravens. And I think this is going to play into exactly what the Packers want to do. I say that because you remember Keyshawn Nixon last week basically lining up at the sticks multiple times. I think he had 5 PBUs. But he's just sitting there going like, I know you got to get rid of the ball fast. And all they're having to do right now is bring one extra guy. Right? If you +1 these guys, they're going to get, if you +1 this team, you're going to get somebody to put a hat on Joe Flacco. And you see it again with DeJuan Jones here. He's got to take most dangerous. I think to most people, most dangerous is clearly that guy and not the guy coming off the edge. But he just gives a hand, lets it go. I don't know if the Baltimore Ravens know their calls. Obviously, these teams know each other very well. But he gets hit again. He's on the ground. And this is just the story of the day. They really haven't had to win a single pass rush to put pressure or put Flacco on the ground yet. So now we got a 3-by-1. And this is another one of those plays where you kind of scratch your head. Everybody's seen these kind of route combinations and concepts before. They're just going to come up and out. They're going to run the 7. Go. I don't know where this came from. Let's see if I can erase that. Yep. And then we're going to curl up right here with Njoku. For whatever reason, they've kind of predetermined. Listen, anytime you see the down here, anytime you see this guy's back, I mean, really, he's playing kind of a cloud defender where he can drop back unless somebody shows flat. He can sit. and they're bracketing this with the backside. They're bracketing here. They really have 3/2. Okay, this is all you can eat. Really, the check down. Usually in these situations, you're like, I'm probably going check down here unless somebody makes a really big mistake. Flacco's already like, I'm throwing this football out of bounds. If he throws that, if he makes a better pass, that's a turnover. You got 2 outside here of Dwan Jones. Again, they're not winning pass rushes. The Ravens aren't winning the pass rush. Like, that's the thing that we have. You just expect them to win pass rushes. They don't have to win pass rushes to get pressure on Joe Flacco. All right, listen, you always like the Browns defense. Right now, 29 points per game, 25th in the league, but they're only giving up 191 yards per game. They played the Bengals and the Ravens. Like, this is a good defense. They average 2.1 yards on the ground. First in the league, 45.5 yards per game on the ground, first in the league. Like, this is a very good downhill, aggressive defense. You like what you see out of Devin Bush. Obviously, you like the rookie Mason Graham, but everything stops and starts with this team, and really the entire team with Myles Garrett. He's a special player. He looks even better this year. You know, that bag, he's not holding him back at all. He's a phenomenal player. One thing the Ravens did a great job of this weekend, this past weekend, against the Browns, is they ran a ton of crossing routes. So we started from when they go motion, and they're just resetting their edge here. And what they've done is they've allowed this guy now to bang out here on Garrett, and then he's just going to follow through. We're going to run the crossing here so we can get the little rub downhill, and then we've got a little check outside as well to help Garrett. They've got this 3 down. You see this from the Baltimore Ravens. You see 3 to a side. This is I think this is the first 3rd down play of the game. And so how we want to attack this from a pass protection standpoint is obviously very important, particularly if Zach Tom's still out of the equation. I think personally, if you're asking me, I think the Cleveland Browns do a disservice to Myles Garrett when they don't let him just rush the passer and they start doing all this nonsense. I think this only gets in his way. But you see the crossing route up at the top. He bangs out, gets down, enough for the first down. Easy stuff. Really got 5 down linemen in the game here now to stop that rushing attack. And so they just flick it out. Obviously, just playing a numbers game here. This is something when you just think about what the Green Bay Packers are capable of doing. If they're going to go 5 down against like 12 personnel and try to stop this running game, they have Derrick Henry, we have Josh Jacobs, same to me. But they're going to motion this guy across. And this player becomes just naturally soft. This guy's going to soften up a little bit. And all this motion usually does is soften up the defense, gives you an opportunity to release the way that you want. So we go across. They just run the bubble. And because of the speed. And one thing I love about this play in particular, and this is something you see with our athletic offensive lineman on the right side, is being able to get out. You just see Zach Tom being able to make that block as well. Look at that right tackle. Just knock that dude flat on his ass. I did not see that earlier, and I'm glad I saw it now. God, I love this sport. Okay, we got 2nd and 4 here. They start in a bunch. They go motion again. Corner tries to hug up, so they bring him back. They've seen that what they want. They're getting that man look. This is what you appreciate about this football team, is they play fast and they play downhill, and they really, they take on the personality of their star player. This guy brings it. You see they're bringing the backside safety. Just love the aggressiveness that these guys bring. He's just a fan of football. And first of all, let's just watch how we take on the block here. Give credit where credit's due. These guys are playing hard. This guy comes off like he shot out of a cannon. What is all this stuff? Let me get rid of all that. This guy comes out like he shot off a cannon. And he just destroys this play before it even gets a chance to start. You see the penetration everywhere. 94, the rookie Mason Graham. Great job getting on that down block. Looking at number 94 here. Really following Linderbaum in center. Kind of gets to his block before he can. They are very, very good. We're talking about a good Baltimore Ravens blocking unit. Obviously, Derrick Henry and company, Lamar Jackson and company. So these guys are making games interesting. We've already shown the offense kind of some of their deficiencies, but these are good players. Like the coordinators are going to be looking at these plays, and they're going to see this guy get real kind of nosy and head this way, and we've got a dude going out here, and these plays are, I mean, these are Green Bay Packer plays. And so Jordan Love, if he does have time, if we figure out a way to get time on Myles Garrett, then, you know, you're going to have opportunities to make these throws. Now, having said that, if we watch this from the end zone, there's a reason this play doesn't kind of hook up like you expect it to. And the reason is Myles Garrett. Watch him here. You know, I don't know if I can show this play in slow-mo, but what he's able to do with the way he contort his body at 6'5", 280 or 285 pounds, I mean, and then get all the way around and force the quarterback. I mean, this is right there. I mean, what are we doing? It looks like he's in the goddamn Matrix or something like that. Like, what are we talking about here? Look, I don't know if anybody can see this, but I've never been in that position in my entire life. That has ended not in something like going to the hospital. That is absolutely ridiculous. So he gives the tackle, who's Ronnie Staley, good tackle, back shoulder, super wide jump, gets his outside foot planted, and then he's able to turn the corner here and really force Lamar to move forward and now have to reset and throw again. And that's why the timing's off on the play. Hey, listen, all the scheme and all the other things, it's like, well, Myles Garrett made him step up. We got a problem. Got Mark Andrews there up top. Otherwise, you got a 3-by-1. Chip out. Another crossing route. Very, very similar. They don't bang out on this side this time. We're talking about here. He doesn't bang out. He just goes straight and across and bang out there and go across. And look, we've got a bunch of other things happening here, but really they're just looking to see if they're going to play this in zone or they're going to have to sit down. Can they run through it? And, you know, the Ravens are always very good at this. The Packers are very good at this. These are plays where you're kind of figuring out, how do I get myself in these kind of formations? And you see 21 bails, but he's still playing 8 yards off. So we're just getting, and then yards after contact, yards after catch. Just a lot of opportunities here. Okay, a lot you can do from this formation under center. And this is what I love about Baltimore, the way they dress things up, and then obviously having the run threat that we feel like we have for the Green Bay Packers. But you're under center. You've now gone to a bunch formation. Your tight end is in a position here where he can go here, he can block, he can pass pro, he can release, he can be part of this. He can be part of this kind of this bunch look. Like, we've got a lot of things going, and then you've got the nasty split. And so that gives you the opportunity to run across. That gives you the opportunity to run out. That gives you the opportunity to run up and out, okay? So there's a lot of things you can do from this formation. We haven't even talked about the running game yet. But it allows you to kind of use the entire field and expand the grass post-snap. And what do we end up with? Really just another crossing route. Another way to dress it up. These guys drop into zone. They do a great job. Again, you're always trying to put somebody in conflict in these plays. And for the Cleveland Browns, you know, the good news about the Ravens and the Packers is that you have different ways to find players to put them in conflict. So right here, you're putting him in conflict by sending this player up the field. Got the underneath, and this guy's coming straight across. Got out here to take this flat player. You've got the drop, and so there's going to be this hole where this guy has to move and then immediately redirect and go make this play. That's a lot of stripes on that. A lot of action on that screen there. I think I'm probably getting a little too excited with this new Epic Pen. This is something it's just as a football fan, I love to watch. I mean, I really like the way, like, I think is that Bryce Huff? I think that's how Bryce Huff, but I love the way these guys play, man. I mean, watch the end of this play. where he's just like, he's going to take the cut and then just dives and goes after the tackle, right? Now, if that was Tom Brady, they'd get 15 yards, but it's not, so we're good. Just kind of an interesting position here, isn't it? The way that we're looking. Is this me telling you, hey, I'm definitely chipping you right here. I want you to be well aware of what's going on. Gear takes the inside, doesn't matter. All the best laid plans, guys, is it boils down to in these games, can you win your 1v1 matchup? Excuse me. So he's showing chip, but we still just got a 1v1. And at the end of this, you're going to rush 4 because you got good pass rushers and you got an exceptional one in Myles Garrett. Can you win your 1v1s? All of the other route combinations and the coverages, and hey, we got this great line, we got all this stuff going on. Can this dude win? Can this dude win? If the answer is yes, a lot of problems get resolved. That's one thing we have to be hyper aware of. We obviously got one of the better pocket movers on the planet with Lamar Jackson here, but it doesn't really seem to matter when you can gain ground like Myles Garrett does, pushes some pocket, spins out, and then gets help from his buddy on the backside, who actually has a really good rush as well. The speed of play here for these guys is something I just don't think we've seen over the last couple of weeks, quite frankly, consistently. This D-line group is really playing downhill. They really play well together. All right, we got gun motion over to 3-by-1 at offset. Now, this position's kind of interesting, and we've seen this a lot here. I'm talking about that tight end or that F position. More often than not now, you're seeing these guys kind of line up in a space where they can chip out. This really turns into you don't think of this as a run formation, or at least a strong side run formation. Now, you could certainly, hypothetically, you can come down and try to block this guy downhill, but honestly, it's a really, really tough block for him. So you're kind of thinking, particularly in here, you're not gonna toss this out. You're probably gonna come downhill if you're running the football. This is a very advantageous box to run in. You only got a 6-man box here, and you can definitely mark up here. So I like these formations. These little positions kind of put conflict with the defense and where they want to play their apex guy, their overhang. The Cleveland Browns are going to have to figure that out with us as well, with all the motions and shifts that we do. So they run, but again, I say all that to say, and I'm sure you guys have seen this play on social media, it doesn't matter because this dude just does things differently than everybody else. See if I can get it on the screen here. We're watching Myles Garrett. He's just coming off the screen. He'll come in here like a flash in a second. And, just from my experience playing offensive line, I don't know what you do with that. You don't love Ronnie Stanley's footwork, and you can start talking about all this, but it's like, man, if you don't gain ground against this guy, you really are asking for trouble. Also, give credit where credit's due. 94 Mason Graham over the right guard here at the 2-eye position. Come on, Mike. Mason Graham is the right guard, over the right guard at the 2-eye position. Watch how he plays his backside. Does a good job. He's going to be involved in that play as well. He is fast. He's low to the ground. Good player. Going to be an interesting matchup there as well. Okay. Now we got Lamar doing some Lamar things. Motion to 2-by-2, or shifted 2-by-2, motion out. Love this play. Turns into kind of an interesting insert release, like it's a run almost, right? So we block out here, insert here, and then end up running out. They got a little show and keep. Keep Garrett out of there. Not many quarterbacks can make that play. Lamar can. I think Jordan Love can as well. So this is what you're dealing with from a pass rush standpoint. You just see the speed off the ball. The pressure, people are coming through. A little bit of a sieve there. He's got to throw the ball away. And everybody's, getting, we see the chip over there by Andrews. But really, Pressure comes from all-pro center, gets beat really bad, tries to spin. That's actually a nice little move by Linderbaum there. Tries to spin back into it. But these guys are playing really fast. You love the club from the D tackle. You like the way these guys play. It's hard not to. 2x2. Again, you're in that kind of that position where this is now a passing formation, and you can tell that if I back up, this player is telling you it's pass. That player is telling you it's pass. So we got to dress this position up. A lot of guys are using this. We got to dress that position up, whether it's by motion, whether it's by coming inside out. You always have to be out of the way of the tackle's kick, but we don't want to make it obvious because these kind of plays they only happen with this guy. I think that's that Hopkins down there. But I don't know anybody who watched this game. I think they were down on the 1 yard line. They got backed up. I think they got 2 chances at the end zone, like 2 separate series. And this is how it ends. Or at least how the first part of it ends is Garrett gets you again. Again, the most elusive quarterback maybe to ever play the football game. Ronnie Staley has been all pro. You just see the hands here by Garrett. And he's, you're worried about the bull. He just goes hands down, double swipe down with the rip. Can just very, very unique bend. Ends up making the play. All right, we got a little bunch, little gun. The emotion out of it. Chip, love this play. And I think these are available. You see what happens here when you show this. This ends up running like a running back Texas route, right? And I'm looking at pointing directly at here. Kind of looks like he's going flat and he comes back. It makes this guy, because he doesn't want to chase underneath, so he plays over the top. And it allows them, it allows space. We got an inside release here. But it allows our interior lineman to come up and really not worry about him and end up blocking these two guys. So great play design. I'm sure the Packers have something similar in their bag. It's just how you want to get there. And, all like Matt LaFleur and his staff are doing is going like, how do we get this guy to play over the top like this again so we can come back? And he's just out of the play completely. It's a good little 10-yard pickup. Another bunch. Again, this is not a play because of that tight end. As I'm watching this tight end is taking himself out of the split flow conversation. Maybe the running back has with his width as well. We go motion. The Browns here are playing single high, just like a standard cover 3, really. They find the soft spot. Good tackling. A lot of people to the ball. These guys play hard. They play fast. They don't make a lot of mistakes. In this game in particular, you start watching the game over and over, and it's like, how many plays does Lamar Jackson make that other people can't? And then you have all these other good players on their team as well, including their offensive line. Got the deep drop here. This is kind of stuff I'm talking about. It's like, what are we doing? That's, you look at this pass rush and you kind of, okay, what do we have to worry about here? So they got their 4 down. They mug the Mike linebacker up here. And now you're kind of going 5 down. Are you keeping it back in? You see this position again is telegraphing I'm going to bang out, or at least you have to consider me for the defensive end as a guy that's going to bang out here and give my tackle time. What that allows the tackle to do, and something we kind of think about is, you're setting here, but you can kind of slow set this because you're going to get a little bump here. This guy could come late, but that's not that big of a deal. Tight end can always pick that up, or depending on how they want to switch that. So you're set up for success. And now it's just a question of can the guys that are in the, you're making your money over here at the left tackle position right now. And I've said this before. I really think the Browns do themselves a disservice when they don't just let this guy go one-on-one with whoever it is, whether it's Rasheed Walker, whether it's Zach Tom, whether it's Jordan Morgan, whoever's out there. Like I am giving that guy as many one-on-ones as possible. You love when they don't. You see how he gets all jumbled up. Again, this is one of those plays where I don't know how many guys can make that throw, make that escape. They start with in really 22 personnel, motion across, toss play. They ran this twice. I think I only put one of them on here. I really like this play. I'll show you from the end zone. A lot of teams are running this play now. They motion across. Now, you can't see just outside is, again, Mark Andrews is in that kind of wide split here. And what they do is they're saying, hey, we're going to block down. I know you guys can't see that line, but we're just going to go through. And we're just saying that tackle can capture Devin Bush. And then we've got the lead blocker. Ooh, that's the wrong one. Then we've got the lead blocker coming through here. And then we've got big Derrick Henry running on the toss play. Like, this is a very good play because we have angles everywhere. Like, we've got a great angle here. We can actually get a hand on if we want. We can go through here, right? We're really running on the safety as long as we can make, and this is a big if, you can make that block. I'm a big fan of this play. I know the Packers have this play as well. I think it's just different the way they do it. And maybe it's, very specifically because who's playing out there with the Cleveland Browns and that angle they're taking off. Like it looks like that defensive end, it looks like that defensive end isn't even thinking about getting blocked right here, which is kind of wild to me. Last play I'll show you. They go 2x2. They motion over. You're looking again at some of these keys. You want to just be able to, for me personally, I just want to hide as much of the obvious stuff as I can. A lot of this, obviously, with the pass set and everything, and you're going to have to do that with Myles Garrett. He's so wide. He just covers so much ground. But you don't want to give up too many tells against this defense. As we watch this play unfold, we come in motion. They run the quick out. And then they really just, that safety has to go down and take the quick out. So they've got the corner. And with that motion coming across, they identify that as most likely man coverage. He's already got tons of leverage because it was a fast motion. So what do I mean by that? I mean, this player is really at a disadvantage for any out route now if they're going man. So as soon as this guy bites on this one, we're going to have a ton of space out here to the corner. And as long as that safety doesn't widen, you got to feel really good about your opportunity for that throw. Because they being the Ravens, because they take this player and send him through the split, they make this backside safety hold. By doing that, we take the leverage, easy pitch and catch. This is a very good football team, but you see a lot of opportunities as long as you can stop that pass rush. And the good news is, I think, it'll be really interesting to see how much pressure they try to put on Jordan Love. He's had different results with pressure over the course of his career. I think that'll be a major influence. Obviously, you have to gear up to stop Myles Garrett. He's an absolute game plan guy. Those rest of the guys are going to have to hold up. But you see the opportunities on the back end, multiple different routes. You talk about the Texas route. You talk about all the crossers. You talk about the deep outs. There's a lot of stuff on the menu that looks good as long as you can hold up in pass pro.